Very good morning to you all. We welcome you all in our today's Saturday webinar series, along with our enriched panel members today. And today's topic, what we are discussing is upliftment of the CHROs by virtue of AI. Okay. Today, AI is transforming the way we live, work, and communicate, and has the potential to revolutionize the various industries from auto to airlines or healthcare to finance, even in departments, functions like HR, marketing, and other support functions as well. So we have today in our panel Dr. Premankur Das, Mr. Raamann Ahuja, and Mr. Vipul Dave. We welcome all them all.
Thank you.
I will just take.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Sunil. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Along with me, we have the founder director of uKnowva, Mr. Vicky Jain, and we have myself, Sunil Kabra from Human Capital. We are into staffing and recruitment and supporting the corporate clients. Okay. So today's topic is more about how the AI is going to help the CHROs. AI is changing the HR game pragmatically. Okay, today what we have seen that turning recruitment process from a wild goose chase into a well orchestrated talent search, or making employee onboarding easy by automating certain tasks and databases, or AI is powered to help the L&D solutions, or AI can also help in real-time monitoring of goals and feedback, and thereby helps in playing key role in assessing the performance management. AI helps in employee behavior, productivity, and thereby contributing to the better retain talent retention strategies. Okay. AI in HR is not just a trend of movement, but it's a culmination of decades of technological advancements and HR practices, from the earliest days of HR record keeping to a AI-powered performance management system. Okay. Uh, In today's webinar, we will see how AI helps our CHROs in upliftment of our better understanding. I would like to give a brief introduction of our panel members today. Okay, Dr. Premankur Das. Okay, he has master's degree in HR from NIBM and business administration and management from London School of Economics. He has a doctorate in behavioral science and now pursuing next doctorate in management science, which will be over by next year, 2025. And he has overall 28 years of experience in corporate industries across diverse verticals. He has been keynote speakers in major institutions like Manipal Universities, IMM, Boston College, Adams Universities, IIT, IIM, Strathmore, etc. He has also shared his experience and ideas across 150 webinars, TED and TEDx as well platforms. Currently, he is based out of Dubai and associated with Robust Trade DMCC. Today, we have privilege of having him with us on our August webinar. We welcome you, Dr. Premankur.
Thank you for having me here. I'm really glad I'm here today with you all.
Our next panel speaker is Mr. Raamann Ahuja. Okay, he is an engineer and master's in HR. He has rich 27 years of experience across USA, Southeast Asia, and Indian markets. Raamann started his career with Asian Paints and worked with reputed banks like HSBC, Stanchart, Deutsche Banks, and large US MNCs like Thermo Fisher Scientific, both in Singapore and India. And he has also worked in Chairman's Office of CK Birla Group. Raamann sir has a brand as a business HR leader with strong people focus in linking HR efforts to support organizational goals, and has been involved in multiple transformative assignments. Today, he is a group CHRO with PDS Limited. It is a global apparel company with operations in 22 countries, and company has over 11,000 employees. We welcome you, Raamann sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil.
Our next speaker is Vipul Dave. He is a Master of Social Work and has a PG Diploma in Industrial Relations and Personal Management. He is a keen strategist with expertise in HR transformation, talent management, organizational restructuring, digital HR, M&A, industrial relations, and HR interventions for across organizations. He has successfully led large corporations and great career graph from Jindal Polyfilms, Liberty Steel Group, Cosmos Films, BASF, Tata Teleservices, Oracle, Reliance Industries, and JK Papers. He is founder of Talent X, which is a HR advisory firm specializing in talent acquisition and management and advisory to various startups in HR, event management, wellness, and fintech organizations. He is well-known speaker on across forums, conferences at national and global level, and he has published articles in many magazines. Okay, he has received multiple accolades, recognition from World HRD Congress, HR Association of India, Top HR Minds, and IPM, Only HR, and many more organizations. We welcome you, Vipul sir, in our Saturday webinar series.
Thank you, Sunilji. It's a pleasure being here.
Okay. We can we start, sir? We have certain questions, okay, which we'll be just putting across, okay. Some of the questions which we would like to take it with you, Raamann sir, is over the years we have seen to transition from Excel sheets to sophisticated AI-driven tools. How has this evolution impacted HR processes and what lessons can be learned from this shift? Would you like to take this, Raamann sir?
Sure, Sunil. And, I'm going to request, you can drop the sir from my name, yet to be knighted. But God willing, one day when I will, I will appropriately take it. So good morning, all fellow professionals who have joined today on a Saturday morning. I see close to 100 people here. So I think thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the organizers for giving Vipul, Prem, and me this opportunity to share our thoughts. See, typically, I'll set some context. In today's world, nobody needs Gyan, right? It's freely available on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Google. And now, thankfully, this new world has emerged as AI. I think what probably we need here is experience sharing. In my mind, what we need in today's world is lessons to be learned from people like us who've fallen, failed, and then got up to say, okay, let me be smarter and better. So Sunil, what I'm going to share is, as you said, I typically relate myself more as a business manager. Luckily, or for some reason, I'm not got sucked into, the layers of human resources from a concept perspective. I am a student of business. I'm a student of science, and I believe our role is to uplift business, right? When I look at the topic AI, CHRO upliftment, I was reading today and I laughed in the morning. Actually, folks, upliftment means improvement of a person's moral or spiritual condition or the condition in which they live in. So, I'm going to relate, Sunil. I will probably take a minute here.
Sure.
When I started my career, that was 96, almost 27 odd years earlier. Lucky to be in a great organization called Asian Paints straight from campus. I remember my first day, I was supporting recruitment, and someone said about recruitment technology, becoming smarter. I remember in 96, I was in a room with a sack full of resumes. We would get actual resumes, right? And my job was to open every envelope, look at the resume, read it from word to word, 3 pages, 4 pages, segregated by state, by city, by education, by gender, put it in an Excel sheet, and learn the chronology of reading the resume. That taught me how to read a resume, how to have quality conversation with with the candidate, how to, in one interview, I remember in 96, 97, and I was a rookie. I was a management trainee. I could actually tell you my competitors' organization whole mapping today, which consultants do at a price. Because I'm going to interview Vicky and say, hey, Vicky, tell me about you. Who do you report to? Who's your manager? Who's your peer? What's your team? How do you do? Who's doing well? How do you rate yourself? Now, the reason I'm talking 96 and now 2024, now the transitions have happened, right? Technology and, the reality is artificial intelligence, we are at the tip of the iceberg. It's algorithm, it's data that's doing the stuff and chat box. The actual artificial intelligence is yet to seep in into most businesses and human resources. And I'm happy, folks, the colleagues or audience that's attending, if you want to switch on your cameras, it would be great to engage and have a better conversation. So while the speed is what we are talking about, technology has enhanced the speed. Sunil, the concern is the quality engagements are dropping, right? That's my big concern. And I remember in Asian Paints, I would do, we would do an ad. It would be walk-in interviews. 2,000 people would walk in. I'll book a hotel. There would be chairs and table. They would walk in. We would do written test, maths and English. At that time, the requirement was first class first class graduate, 65% for a sales representative job. Can you believe
True,
this?
true,
So
true.
if you are less than, if you're 64.9, I would reject you. They would come for English, maths test. The shortlisted people out of 2,000, maybe 100 would get shortlisted. You would interview the 100 by midnight. You would have a shortlist of 20. 20 would get interviewed by the business head and you will hire 10. We would finish it in 24 hours. There was no technology, human intervention. Today, technology is there, and still people complain about not finding the right talent. And then the word called got coined, war for talent, right? I think what I'm sharing, here, Sunil, with everybody, I think while technology remains, we should not lose the essence why technology was created,
True.
right? Technology was created to help us become better in decision making, help us become better in execution, to uplift and impact the business. That's the only way to uplift HR function and CHROs. If I don't know my business, if I don't understand my business, there is no way I'll be uplifted. I can throw jargons and technology. I will not add value. So I'm going to pause here because I know my fellow panel members have an extremely wonderful insight here as well. But I just want to, start this statement by saying human intelligence created artificial intelligence. Let's continue to sharpen human intelligence in this whole process. Yeah, Sunil, back to you.
Thanks. I think very well said. HI, human intelligence, has created the artificial intelligence. Very true. Would you like to throw some highlights, Dr. Prem?
I think I would first of all congratulate all of you and the partners who have taken a wonderful initiative in arranging this time appropriate webinar. I think I truly agree with my fellow partner, Mr. Raamann, what he said, that human intelligence should be sharpened. But I think what exactly is more important to understand that these tools are basically required to uplift our intelligence, our emotional intelligence, and how exactly we are adopting them and how thoughtful we are in integrating them in the different aspects of our business. So I think today we would be discussing more about what exactly are the takeaways for us at this juncture of the technology adoption. What exactly are the ways why we should embrace this technology? And it's not about upgrading tools, but about evolving processes and mindsets, which is more important. It's like moving from a typewriter to a touch screen. So you are not just changing the device, you are transforming how you communicate and create. So I would say stay adaptable, continually learn, and remember that AI isn't a magic wand, but a powerful tool, which needs to be thoughtfully utilized and implemented in our life. So I think for now, this is what exactly I feel is very appropriate for all of us to understand and comprehend.
Thanks, Doctor. I think very well said. I think one has to stay adaptable. That is what it calls for, and yeah, we are able to get an upliftment by using an AI. Sure. I would like to take the next question. As AI becomes more integral to HR, how are CHROs preparing themselves and their teams for this technological shift? Okay, I mean, there is a paradigm shift, definitely. Okay, I mean, we have today in our consortium SkillsConnect, which is enabling the campus hiring solution. Okay, which is doing the payroll and the payroll management and the performance management solution. Okay, so how is it CHROs are preparing themselves and their teams for this technological shift? Okay, and what skills or knowledge areas should they focus on? Vipul, we would like to start with you first.
Thank you, Sunil Ji. Pleasure being here on this platform. as Ramanji has said the context, and I would relate with it that let's keep the gyan out and let us share actual experiences, which is more important for others to replicate or either improve upon it. And I take this example from my own experience where we were first moving from I was leading a large organization where I was doing a PMS activity. At one point of time, we had completed 98, 99% of activity we had completed. And I had only delegated to my own team member about making an entry of 8 entries in the, copying it from the Excel and just pasting in the system so that we could complete the activity and move on. Interestingly, can you believe it that out of 8, he had goofed up 5 entries. Somebody who was low performer got high performer, rated as high performer. Now, what was the transition? He was simply moving away from Excel, not looking at the names and just pasting in the system. Now, these kind of errors, whether do we as a CHRO or HR leaders, can we foresee this kind of issues which are coming up? Can AI be used to filter or audit this kind of errors? Whose fault it is? I mean, if you look at it, it was an individual's fault, Excel's fault, or we blame it on the system. Now, these are common things that which are generating, and coming back to our topic of, our CHR, what are the CHROs doing in this kind of space? First of all, let's understand that AI is today in its nascent stage where we are artificial intelligence is developing very fast. It is, it is at a space where we are seeing chat GPT and various other sources which are revolutionizing our way of activities or performance. Now, but if you look at it, are the data's outputs reliable? Still we need to have a relook at it and come back whether whether it requires vetting and reconfirmation. Can you blindly, and as a leader, can you blindly trust it that whatever is the amount? If you look at it, is just a segregation of commands which is putting technology or the data which is already there in the system to further automate it and throw some output. Now, this is resulting in various challenges in terms of things. But to understand this gap, CHROs themselves have to be abreast with the development. And if you ask me, do we have a choice in terms of not knowing technology? We have to learn the technology. Rather, we have to be step ahead of technology so that we can make effective use of technology to automate our mundane jobs, automate our reports, and the workforce which is changing on a dynamic basis. Generation is changing. The new employee experience is what Ramanji mentioned it about 26, 27 years back, and the employees who are there, the Gen Z and generation, baby boomers have moved on, and now these employees do not wait for your ratifications of what you are telling is right. They come back and challenge you for this kind of things. So, as an HR team, we have to be take technology to our advantage. Sharp technical, we need to have sharp technical acumen alongside with our own understanding of basic HR principles. I strongly believe that uKnowva is a great organization, kind of, or SaaS based new generation softwares. Over a period of time, our times had seen a lot of old systems. That's from moving from Y2K to today's time. These softwares are way advanced in terms of predictions, data replications, reports, the reasons we have been fumbling in various decision making now can be very at a press of a button can be given to. Now, this is the area where we need to focus and look at how we need to redefine or validate our own HR practices. I think these are the challenges that an CHROs have to look at, how we connect and with technology and look at our own processes. These are top of my mind, that some thoughts which
Very True. Very well said, Vipul. I think we need to be a step ahead of the technology and automate the regular mundane task. Okay, I mean that is what the crux is coming out. Okay, and stay ahead. Okay, that is very important. Raman, would you like to throw some light on what could be the how we can manage the technological shift?
Thanks, Vipulji and Sunil. So, fellow friends on the call who are here, the more I think about technology, the more I reflect on the topic of upliftment of CHRO, the more I reflect on what Vipul just said. I think we have a wonderful opportunities. What I was reading through books in libraries, what I was learning by walking up to people and asking them, विपुल जी बताओ ये कैसे करना है, आपने कैसे किया, या सुनील आप बताओ आपने कैसे किया. I hope people here understand both English and Hindi, so I will keep jumping between the two. Uh, I think here is a great opportunity for this human resource function. When you say stay ahead of technology, in my mind, the only one sentence resonates: use technology every day. I have a lot of team members here who join. We've just hired Gen Zs, and I hate to use this, Gen Z, and I don't like to create silos in the talent. I've hired young talent, a 22-year-old MBA in my team, and I've just told them, I said, you don't need me. You have Google, Baba. You get stuck, write on Google, they will advise you. Now you have Chat GPT. You can build your script, you can build your question answer, you can have a smarter conversation with me. The reason I'm bringing this up, friends, is I think we have a wonderful opportunity to continue to learn. To me, what technology is giving me is making me a better student, making me a better learner, right? The reality is, I don't know how to use an iPhone still. My daughters have taught me. They are young. By simple mathematic logic, they are young, right? Now we could categorize them as Gen Z, beta, theta. We could do till the cows come home. I think the difference, Sunil, in the new generation is my generation was a generation of scarcity. The new generation is a generation of abundance by God's grace.
Abundance. True.
They have choices, right? They can make they can make different decisions. I'm not sure right or wrong. That's a wisdom is in hindsight. But to come to the topic, Sunil, I think here is an opportunity to use technology to drive data-driven insights, right? I was working on a base Excel today. I can do Power BI and many more tools I can use and give smart analytics. Today, here is an opportunity to automate what we call as boring HR task. I think that's bread and butter. Imagine as a group CHRO, if I miss a payroll in any of the 22 countries and I'm sitting with my founder talking strategy, he will throw me out of the window and say, boss, पहले पगार तो ठीक से दो लोगों को, स्ट्रेटजी बाद में करते हैं. Right now, imagine as I speak, 80% of my colleagues are in Bangladesh. Last 10
Oh,
days, all I've done is watching news and talking to my colleagues on the phone. There is no technology helping because there is a blackout. There was a blackout in Bangladesh. The only thing helped me was my connect. Sunil, are you okay? Vipulji, are you doing fine? Prem, is team okay and safe? That generated a lot of energy. That look, our colleagues outside the world, people sending messages to motivate our employees in Bangladesh saying, stay on course, things will fall in place. I'm giving these real life examples because things will go off rail. We will do everything right. But I think what is important is how you're using technology, whether it's an email, a WhatsApp, a chat GPT, or anything, Microsoft Pilot or whatever, to improve personalized experiences. I think you can't take away that personalized experience, bit from our work. And it's not because we are in HR. It's because we are in a business of managing people, right? So my request to the young group which is here, or irrespective of the age group, the 100 people who are here, use technology to become smarter in understanding business. Use technology to know the core of your business. If in my kapda business, I'm in the business of clothing, if I don't know earnings per minute, that's what gets me the revenue, I'm a useless CHRO, however good technology I use, right? If I don't know the margins that I sell, this t-shirt that I'm wearing is a PDS made t-shirt. I sell it for, I won't tell you, it will break your heart, the money that people pay outside. I make only 10 cents on this t-shirt. So imagine how many millions of pieces I have to sell to make a good profitability and revenue. Right.
True.
So Sunil, what I'm coming back is technology is here to help us. Technology is not here to help to make us complacent. Right. What is happening is technology is probably giving me a better work-life balance. What I used to do in 12 hours, now I can do it in 8 hours. But then how do I use my balance 4 hour? That's where I should bring in technology to say, मुझे और समझना है, मुझे और पढ़ना है, मुझे और अच्छा करना है. So technology will only help those who are in a continuous learning mindset.
Very true. Very true. I think the Bangladesh episode, I mean, is really made the HR create a human touch. Okay, and where of course technology has helped, but technology was also a blackout in the Bangladesh episode. So human touch is what is very critical. Of course, tech helps in learning better, becoming smarter. Okay, and managing the work-life balance. Thanks, Raman. Okay, we move on to the next questions. Okay, what are the most significant barriers CHROs face when adopting AI in their organization? Okay, how are we going to implement? Okay, people are talking of AI, but we need to be have a smarter way of implementing this within our organization. How can this challenge be overcome to ensure successful AI implementation is done? Doctor, would you like to throw some highlight on this?
Thank you so much, Sunil, for putting up this question to me. But before I answer this question, I would really look into the question which were answered by Vipul and Raman. And in fact, that basically connects to this
That would
question.
be good. Yeah. Yes,
All
sure.
right. So what I think is, like both of my friends said, what exactly are the pros and cons and what exactly we should really focus on. And in fact, what are the downside? But I think the CHROs are critically play a role like a navigator. They are steering the ships through this ever expanding, the sea of AI and automation. We have to keep our team. It's only just how you synchronize the entire task force. And not only that, continual development only happen when we know that how exactly we have to be utilizing our knowledge, how we can be ethical, and how we can ensure that there is a smooth transition of technology and responsibility. So now imagine that we are in a business where exactly we are going to adopt and adapt with this transition. How exactly is going to happen? So for that, we need to have a cross-border, across the department, how exactly we understand each other's responsibility, cross-functional knowledge. That is how exactly I think a partnership with the IT and analytics team is very crucial. So it's just like, you know how to pilot a plane and communicate with the ATC simultaneously, embrace a lifelong learning process, and the same practice you instill in your team. And that is how exactly you can overcome the adoption resistance or the adoption challenges. So if I really come back to this question, then I would like to say that AI adoption isn't exactly a smooth runaway for most of the companies, because as my friend Raman said, that it is just the tip of the iceberg, and the actual AI, the world is yet to see. It is yet to sip in the business. So whatever we are seeing is nothing but the AML and the machine learning. So the major barriers include resistance to change and lack of technical expertise. And of course, a thoughtful way of integrating them, because data privacy concerns are the major concern in most of the companies. And to navigate this hurdle, we should be very clear what we communicate to the team, what we communicate to the business owners, particularly about the benefits and how to address those fears which this the business fraternity is having today. And for this, I think training is essential, because I personally belong from a training domain. And I think this is actually nothing but providing a map for an uncharted field and uncharted jargon, which we have never been into. And this AI landscape is evolving like anything. Additionally, what I understand that we should also have a robust, backup plan, ensuring a smooth and ethical flight, so that we make sure that we are really adopting AI rightly and without amplifying the problems which are already there in the organization, because most of the business problem happens because of the people problem. And if we don't curb this problem at the right time by implementing the technology, I think it's going to only create more disaster. So how we really adopt it, that is what we have to look at. And a thoughtful adoption is very important. Thank you.
Thanks, doctor. I think very true. Okay, we need to manage the resistance within the people. Okay, I mean they evolve a very good training program, manage the data privacy, which is very crucial part of it, and manage the people expectations. Okay, I mean that is very well thought very well put for implementing a successful AI tool. Raman, would you like to throw some highlight on how we can ensure a successful implementation? Because in your organization with 20,000 people, okay, I mean, it is very crucial to manage people expectation and ensure a successful rollout.
Sure. So, Sunil, I just want to echo here, and I want to share, and maybe some people will find it odd or unique. So, I run this organization. I shouldn't say I run, I support this organization. My business leaders run it in 22 countries. I have 70 business vertical, which means 70 business heads. So, technically, they are CEOs by a title and their entitlement. You will be surprised. My corporate team includes me plus 3 people. You will be surprised that I have a global team of 12 HR leaders who manage regions and large businesses, and then very young junior HR team that manage operation compliance. And I think the best way, while it's linked to technology, my entire effort here in the organization that I'm working with, which is a $1.5 billion B2B fashion supply chain company in the world, the second largest in the world, is to allow managers to continue to manage people, right? I'm using the word allow because HR function has a huge temptation to take over manager's job. बहुत शौक है हमें, manager का काम करने का. That robs the manager of his or her job. Manager is about managing people, right? So how we are using technology is ensuring the power is back with the manager. The technology, I use HRMIS as a source of truth. I use HRMIS globally as analytics tool, right? I use HRMIS in my organization as data in your hand without the intervention of HR, which is ensuring that HR is not a power center, right? For the 27 years that I worked, people used to say HR is a cost center. My worry is they didn't realize HR was becoming a power center instead, right? So technology has to be in the hands of my colleagues who run teams, right? HR has to be a consultant, nothing more than that, right? In my mind, and I remember when I was working in Thermo Fisher, I took the name of this fabulous organization that I worked for a long time. We were sitting in 2016, we were in Boston Leadership, or 2017, and we were talking about how technology will impact us. And at that time, my aspiration was it should be on a phone like Siri or Alexa, and the business head should say, hey, whatever, let's call it Siri for nothing more because I have an iPhone. Hey Siri, what is the attrition rate in my region? Who is the best manager? What is the people mood as of yesterday if there were, surveys happening, or as of last quarter? And the data is on his or her phone or on the tip. That's true AI. And then the business head and the HR are talking about what are the strategies I need to take a business from 1.5 billion to 5 billion. I want to grow in 10 geographies. How will I get talent from those 10 geographies? What is my limitation of labor laws and compliance? I am wishing for that day, Sunil.
True,
Right?
true.
But so far, I think for me, my technology boon is master data management, efficiency, tip of the button. I should be able to get the data my business leader is asking for. I hope there are a few lucky HR professionals here in the group who have firms with very strong analytics. But that's true support an HR function can give. My entire effort, Sunil, I'm going to close it so that my other Vipul and Prem can add here. My effort as a CHRO in PDS is to provide strong analytics support to my business. So the decision that took a week should happen in less than 24 hours. Because time is the essence in today's world, right? You don't know what will happen in 24 hours around the world. HR should minimize the lag of decision making using technology if we can. That's my aspiration for my function, at least in my organization.
So very well said, Raman. Okay, I mean, we need to have the information, the analytics at a dashboard level, at a tip of a button, so that people, our managers are able to take decisions and people think about the business that and solving the business issues. Okay, then doing a typical data recording or data collating or data mining kind of a work, because think with AI, it's possible. Okay, but it is important that we allow manager to manage people. Okay, that is what their job is, and the technology supports in doing a decision making. Thanks, Raman. Okay, I think very well said. We move on to the next questions. Okay, what are the ethical consideration CHROs should be aware of when implementing a AI in HR function? Vipul, would you like to take this?
Sure, Sunilji. I think the discussion is getting more interesting and more matured in terms of HR processes. The examples being shared by Premji and Ramanji are making quite a quite a serious and very relevant impact or from an HR perspective. I think it's time we relook at our own processes part of it. But let me ask, I mean, when Brahmanji mentioned very human intelligence, current deliberation is about whether it is human intelligence versus, or I would put it, human intelligence as natural intelligence versus artificial intelligence. But when we look at, when we are taking what is HR, if you come back and what do we do in HR? We we are driving processes, we are driving policies. Can AI replace? Yes, of course it can replace. But what about perceptions? How do we relate with perceptions? HR has a very significant aspect of uh, perceptions, which I think needs to be evolved. And these are the subjects where AI will, have to have more algorithms to help CHROs to take a decisions based on past precedents and past practices with impact on future. To me, if AI can leverage psychology, which is which will play a significant role in HR, towards interpersonal relations, interpersonal approach, which is basically what Ramanji mentioned very relevantly, that what happens in Bangladesh. It was really what was important is a connect. It was basically either connect from a flesh, blood, and brain. This is what we are talking about. Does AI take this advantage of connect? Can AI influence psychology to help us? As an HR, CHROs, basically what we do, we sometimes are, not abreast with the technology, or we are little risk averse in terms of taking the decisions. Um, at at a advantage stage, we should rather have an AI or a technology support us in with an empathy in implementing technology. It should be avoid straight, as a business or a business headcount, they're given a task. I'm implementing new HRMS software. What will you reduce in your HR department? How many people you will reduce in your HR department? Now, that's not the equated cost to the technology implementation. But if you look at it, we have to look at what our existing system and data are there. We, as a first step, can our data be driven? And Ramanji mentioned it very relevantly, that decisions have to be based on data. We need to have a culture where we remove our non-value added activities. Can AI support us in removing non-value added activities so that we can focus back on the core function and our activities? Integrate our values and soft competencies in the organization. I strongly recommend that creating a culture by a data or a decision making only based on data can be detrimental by setting wrong precedents. We can, if you do not have a qualitative input, I think we will not be in a stage where our decisions will have a qualitative impact, or the decisions will be only data driven but without any human interface, human approach. There is a need at this point of time. I look at it. There is a existing data. There is a new form of data which is required. There is huge gap in terms of to arrive at our decision making, new logics, new assumptions, new approach. How do we bridge this gap? There are various startups who are working on only on data driven approaches, Talent Node being one of them organization, which focuses on cleaning up the existing systems. Now, does it help us to make more decision making? Does it help us to move? These are ethical questions which the CHRO needs to evaluate before jumping into only data driven decisions. I think you would want to look at views from other colleagues, and Premji can or Ramanji can supplement on this point.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Vipul. This question, I would like to put it to Doctor. Would you throw some your experience in what could be the ethical considerations which we have to look at when implementing AI in HR?
Sure. I think ethics in AI is like trying to bake a cake without a recipe. So it's trickier than it looks. So the key consideration today should be to include how you ensure fairness, transparency, and privacy in the business, or while you adopt this technology. So this will go hand in hand. AI systems must be designed in such a way that it can avoid the perpetuating biases, and transparency about how decisions are made is crucial. Because today the business actually is evolving, and they are getting transformed into a new entity. So how we are doing the data privacy prioritization, treating the personal information with utmost care. And we have to remember, just because we can track everything, it doesn't mean that we should. Ethics are not just a compliance checkbox, but the foundation of trustworthy AI practices. That what exactly we should do and what we should not do, we have to decide. There is a thin line of demarcation between that. So if you basically have got AI in place, it doesn't mean that you should do everything. So we have to decide that ethical practice has to be brought in. And how you introduce the business to that, I think there the CHRO plays a pivotal role in this. That is what I would like to tell you here.
Thanks, Doctor. Okay, I think very well said that we need to include fairness. Okay, a policy which is fair and a data privacy which is very important while implementing AI solutions within the organization.
As well as transparency.
As well as transparency. Correct. Very correctly said. I have this last question before we move on to the question and answer session. Okay.
Sunil,
Sorry,
I just
sir.
want to add
Raamann, you would
हाँ
please.
देखिए मैं सबसे यही रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ कि whether it is human intelligence or artificial intelligence, let's not expect utopia. वो नहीं आने वाला. We are all biased people, right? Whatever tools we'll use, we will bring our bias. AI को बनाने वाले भी इंसान हैं, उन्होंने अपना bias algorithm डाला है, right? What you see on Google, what you see on Insta Reel, if people say Apple is listening to you or any technology is listening to you, because they are looking at more data mining, they want to make it more personalized. वो bias कहीं ना कहीं रहेगा. तो मुझे लगता है कि rather than worrying about bias, it's about the base of your decision. Decisions are always biased towards organization, sometimes towards employees, sometimes towards profitability, sometimes towards crossing the line, which is unfortunate in some organizations, right? I think as CHROs, how do I ensure that my courage and spine is not dented, irrespective of what technology is in my organization? That will reduce the bias, Sunil. It won't eliminate it, right? So, I'm just urging my fellow friends here on the call, who are attending, let's not worry about things which are beyond our control. I am biased. I have bias for action. I have bias for result. And if I don't see anybody doing it, whether it's my own kids, I kick ass. I get upset. That's my bias, right? And I can't live without it. That's what makes me me. So I think somewhere I want to urge my, young HR leaders who are here on the call or business leaders, do not worry about the bias. Worry about where is it taking you? If the bias is for the good of the business, if the bias is for the good of being on the right side of the law, if the bias is for always doing the right things, it's okay to have that bias, right? And I'm not giving a contrary statement here, Sunil, but I'm saying I don't want young talent to get euphoric and say, "बहुत अच्छा दुनिया बनने वाली है." The world is actually becoming cuckoo. Look around us; it's just going crazier. I think how we should use ourselves is life skills. Is it helping improve our life skill? Is it helping improve our business skill? Can I become a better connect to my colleague? If I'm smarter on Chat GPT, can I help a colleague who's struggling with an Excel and say, "बड़ी मैं तेरी help करता हूँ, तुझे 8 घंटे लग रहे हैं, मैंने 8 मिनट में किया है." To me, technology should help us become better collaborators around the world.
Very well said.
Very well said, sir. I think we need to be better collaborator and help others. Okay. I mean, it's going to be biased, and whatever the decision be, we need to take a decision in more fairness. Okay. Which is in the interest of the business. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Raman. I have this last question before we move on to the question and answer session. So this last question is about digital transformation, and I would like to open this question to all the three panel members. Okay. At what stage in an organization growth or digital transformation should CHRO start integrating AI into their HR process? Some of them you have already covered it, but since it is a little larger macro topic, digital transformation, maybe you can throw some light. Vipul, you are there, so we start with you, Vipul.
Sure. Thank you, Sunilji. Very important. One of when we talk of digital transformation or digital implementation, we think that it is more complicated, more challenging activity, and it should be done by technical people. Now, as an HR, CHROs or HR leaders, we have to identify what is our need from the technology that we want. What is my roadmap for my digital transformation? What are the areas that I'm looking for transformation? Now, I was reading an article by Dr. Ethan from Wharton School. He's saying that we need to look at AI and various other artificial intelligence as a collaborative, co-worker, collaborative coach, as a mentor to us. And they will help us in more complementary activities as a co-teacher, co-facilitator again, kind of a thing. And we implement this kind of thing. You can small you begin with your transformations from, don't just doing a revolutionary and in one day we will turn around the world and come back with the utopian world we are talking about. We can take small activities. Maybe if you want to improve our existing learning management system, how do I bring technology to think? All of us have gone to classrooms, right? For our in our good old days, we used to go for classroom training. Now all the kind of digital platforms and digital simulation based, we used to do role play. Today there is a simulation which is happening on case studies. Now that's a real experience, and AI will put you at different scenarios which we are not even heard of. Now these are the real time challenges or small things in my learning platform. And mind you, I don't need to have a batch of 40 people to organize a training program. I can assign everybody one training program at ease, at their own convenience, at their own flexibility of time. They can take the particular course. Now, this is what the technology can redefine the approaches altogether. We are talking about, like, you come back to our own HR departments. Our own HR departments have been flooded with a lot of co-workers or co-colleagues, and always there have been people who are there in the department. Why? They are there because some corrections in the system, attendance is not taken, slip mein ye error hai, my my date of birth is wrong, my PF statement gives me a wrong statement, or my salary slips are wrong. Now, where is the base of this? The base of this is we have not given the transparency. We have not, Dr. Prem mentioned it, transparency. We have not given this, passed on this data to employee to look, verify, and have a faith in HR that whatever data is there in HR is reliable and trustworthy. They always do not give the HR data. Small, can we give it in their hands by various forms? They can verify data, whatever is seen in their records vis-a-vis in the system. If they believe that transparency, then they will make a difference. One more example, which I will, before I pass on to my other colleagues to comment on it. Can we leverage, and we have to collaborate with our IT heads, CIOs. I'm looking to transform my own organization or HR practices. Like in COVID times, we implemented one very innovative thing was our existing cameras we had automated for AI based approach for maintaining social distancing. Now today this technology can further improve upon quality. Who's playing mischief, who's working, or where are the errors which are happening. Now these are the advantages that we can take upon. So these are roadmap our roadmap. If we collaborate with technology and if we use right um subject matter experts to help us, I think that will play a very important role.
Thanks, Vipul. Okay, very collaborative description and examples which you have shared and ideas which you just put forth. Dr. Prem, would you like to throw some highlight on the digital transformation?
I think this is really an interesting question, and thank you for like keeping this question in the chronology. AI integration, it's just like, it's one size fits all. It's not the kind of a case with AI. So when exactly we are talking about adopting AI or digital transformation, it is a must for every organization. But it's also like a kind of a seasoning to a dish, the way you garnish a dish. So you already have something on that, you are trying to bring some more changes or more development, but how exactly is going to happen? So ideally, I think when we should start for the adoption or the digital transformation, we have to understand that whether the organization is ready for a strategic leap. Typically, one has to understand that we have the solid foundation of data, we have the clarity of the vision for the growth which is required, that at which stage, at which juncture of the business we're going to bring in. It's not that madly get into a technology and everybody is doing, so I have to do. It should not be the case, right? This often aligns with the stages of scaling of business operation or undergoing significant digital transformation. And here, the timing, the business leader has to understand that the timing when exactly it is implemented is very crucial. And sometimes it may also happen that implementation of AI can be too early, and it might mean that dealing with the teething problems, particularly which happens with every technology, because every technology again has a shelf value. So today we are doing these webinars and all, but tomorrow people will even not remember this thing, because today we are talking about AI, but the time will come when you are not even talking about AI, right? We have already immersed ourselves in that technology. As our fellow speaker said that we are yet to sip in that thing in our business. And I think when we are waiting too long, that also should not be, the right way, because sometimes we are just always waiting at the sideline to get our chance to jump in or plunge in. So it might also mean that we are missing out on the competitive advantage. So the role of the CHRO, I think, is very important to understand when we should integrate, to find the sweet spot where your organization's readiness meet the right moment for technological advancement. And how wise and how precise you can be in doing that, that is the beauty, how you can introduce AI to your HR or your other business processes. Thank you.
Thanks, doctor. Very well said. I think one size doesn't fit all. Okay, that's the key message which is going on to the on this particular point. Raman, would you like to throw some light on digital transformation before we move on to the Q&A sessions? Thanks.
Sure. Sunil, I would just add to what Prem said. I think it's about knowing your business, knowing the life stage of your organization, knowing the challenges of your organization. I think technology should help. And I'll give an example. And I think most companies took leave during COVID time. Very unfortunate that happened, around the world to a lot of us. But I think it gave a leap to businesses. It gave a leap to help. So I'll give an example. In my business, We have to send samples before a customer approves, touch of a fabric, the feel of a fabric, the color of the fabric, the knit of the fabric. And post-COVID, nothing happened, right? So there were 3D images, a technology introduced. So you could actually see a digital model, an AI avatar, walking with the kind of cloth designs. And my customer sitting in the West would say, I like it, right? Overnight, things changed because there was no option, right? So I think it's a great inflection point for HR. And we are only talking about technology in HR. I think somewhere again, I'm nudging my fellow, friends here on the call who are attending. Think about technology making a difference to your business. As you connect those dots, your HR technology will filter. It's a funnel. You can't think about bringing technology in HR without understanding how technology in rest of your business world is impacting supply chain, R&D, right? Shipping, finance, RPA, tuck, tuck, tuck. It's already happening, right? My biggest challenge of technology today, people don't know how to write good English on emails, right? And I'm just sharing this. I have two kids grown up, and let me just call them Gen Zs. They are. And I was asking my daughter yesterday. I said, "Look, I have a session tomorrow, and this is the subject I'm talking." She said, "Dad, it's a pity that my batchmate, she's doing her undergrad in one of a very reputed universities abroad, and she said, Dad, it's a pity my friends have stopped writing theses or essays. Everything is Chat GPT." And I said, do you worry your friends are becoming dumber? She said, yes, Dad. My worry is my generation will become dumb. We will lose creativity because we are so reliant on technology. We are forgetting. I mean, imagine how many of us remember telephone numbers. 20 years back, I knew 100 numbers of my friend, their birth dates, and I would diligently call them. Today, I don't know the numbers, the birthdays. I'm reliant on a Facebook and Insta. And what kind of world we are coming to? So the reason I'm bringing this little theme here, when you think about technology, think about, is it making you better or is it making you dumber? And I'm sorry to use that strong word, Sunil, here. That's my biggest worry. My worry about, see, my generation, another 20 or 10 years we have in the corporate life, or maybe another 30 years to live. The new generation has a long 60, 70 years ahead or 100 years ahead. Do you want to be complacent sitting on your bed with your phone becoming your life and you lose the poetry? And the reason I'm bringing this is I just want to share something, I got today morning, and it may not be apt, but I think it's apt for a technological world. It says, "Tu has tu muskura, tu rona kam kar de. Zinda hai tu, zindagi ki naak mein dam kar de." I think that's important for us. How I'm using technology, right? So, Sunil, I'm just going to pause here because what my daughter told me, she said, Dad, I think I'm growing up with dumb. I mean, she's also in the same category. She's not being arrogant or otherwise. She's saying if I continue to study the way I am, I will lose my thinking ability. That's my
Yeah,
biggest caution
true.
to all
We all,
my,
yeah.
the friends and fellow professionals who are here on the, don't lose your edge, the human intelligence.
Yes, very, very true. We should not lose the human touch. Okay. Yes, this technology is helping us, is supporting the our system. Okay. I mean, but this sometimes some of them are making us feel lose our creativity also. Okay, true. Thanks all. We hand it over to Vicky, and we will start the Q&A session. Vicky, over to you.
Thanks, Sunilji, and thanks a lot, Vipul, Raman, Dr. Prem. It was honestly a very great session, and especially the last points, Ramanji, you mentioned. You actually reminded me of a very famous quote by Albert Einstein. And honestly, your daughter is has a very valid point. Albert Einstein had mentioned way back, that the day technology or AI surpasses human intelligence or HI, the world will be full of idiots, and probably that is what you actually kind of or rather your daughter kind of pointed out. I personally also seriously think yes, technology should be for the better and not, it should not make us dumber. I just summarize a few things that were the key takeaways for me from this session, and then I'll move on to the Q&A. One, of course, very key interesting point by Ramanji, HI created AI and not other way around. It's just a support function finally. Vipulji highlighted about how could AI actually reduce the manual errors, which actually kind of helps in making us better rather than just completely relying on technology or AI. Use tech to be smarter, of course. That is something a key takeaway for all the students, all the people who are just in their initial stages of careers. CHRO's play role is actually of a navigator. Very well said, Dr. Prem. I really like that line. HR must become a power center. Yes, it's honestly, I personally think it's already a power center and not a cost center anymore. Ethics in
Vicky,
AI.
I want to correct here. HR should not become a
Not
power center. It
HR.
should become a business partner and a consultant.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I
No
don't
problem, no
want
problem.
my
I personally think
audience
it
to,
has actually
I don't promote power centricity in HR.
all right, let me correct that. It should become a business partner. It's already, honestly, I feel so. Ethics in AI, of course, it's like if we do not have that, we'll end up becoming more and more dumber. Again, Dr. Prem's quote, and life skills are very, very important as touch base. And we need to become better collaborators rather than just users of technology. So thanks a lot, all the speakers, for this amazing, interesting session. I'll take a few. In fact, we have quite a few questions. In the interest of time, I'll have to just take a few. First, I'll go with what Nitin has asked. I read long time back that Elon Musk proposed the concept of universal basic income to support people who lose their jobs because of AI. Do you think AI could take over all jobs, making people dependent on pensions or similar schemes? Could this really be the future? Maybe I'll have Raman sir, you take it up, and of course, whoever wants to follow Vipul
यार
ji
ये
and
भारी सवाल मत दो मुझे दोस्त मैं दिखने में भारी हूँ सोच इतनी भारी नहीं है मेरी. Okay. No, I think, Elon Musk is much ahead of my time, my intelligence. He thinks 20 years ahead. I'm probably thinking 3 quarters only, or 4 quarters in the organization. देखिए मैंने आपको जो एक हिंदी कोट जो बोला ना कि जिंदगी की नाक में दम कर दो. I think that's the way it is. Technology, if we don't adapt, and that's a Darwin's theory. I'm again a student of science. I love Darwin's theory of evolution. It's evolution, right? If you are not along with the evolution, we will become vestigial organs, whether professionally or otherwise. तो आपको सीखना है, हम सबको सीखना है. And there is another quote, and I don't know who said it, that plumbers, electrician, carpenters will be more needed in the near world because technology will take pretty much most of the thoughtful jobs, right? The manual jobs can't be replaced. So my suggestion to the gentleman who's written Nitin here is, Nitin, let's not worry about the future. What's in your hand is a tool, a platform where you can upgrade yourself, which can help you become more thoughtful in your engagement. And I don't know, I can't crystal gaze. When I was 40, I worried that I'm getting old. Now I'm 50, I'm getting worried that I'm getting old. But as long as I embrace, I change. If Raman's version changes from version 1.0 to 2.0 to 3.0, I'll survive and grow. That's my humble request to people here. Just keep growing, keep learning, and keep making yourself relevant to the context.
Thanks, Raman, for that. I'll move on to the next question. I'll have Dr. Prem answer this. How can CHROs measure the ROI for AI investment in HR and communicate value to stakeholders? That's also actually a very important question. While we are using AI, and honestly, some people also think, it's probably AI is a word more abused than used. So, how do you communicate ROI? Dr. Prem, if you could throw some light on this. This is by Abhay.
This is, in fact, a very interesting question. I'm really happy that you asked me. But before that, I would like to tell everybody, whoever is in the panel and listening to us, or maybe listening to this particular webinar telecast, we have to understand that the key to success with AI is not just using it as a technology, but also to understand that how we ask the right questions to this technology. because many at times we forget the game is actually how we use this technology, and what we use is not so we have to always be very clear about the why factor. As a business principal, as a business leader, I should be very sure about asking the right question and to the right forum. So that is very important. And moreover, I think the magic ingredient AI is basically only going to make a difference when we know that where we have to use and at which juncture we are going to use. So, the key drivers which really can help a business to get the ROI better, of course, we have to understand that we have to be more data-driven decision makers. We have to ensure that the most of the repetitive tasks in the businesses are automated. We have to also understand that how we can enhance the employee experience, because it's not only about the people in the business, but also the people who are impacted by the business. How we can actually enable the entire ecosystem by the use of this AI. And of course, we are sailing in a vast data pool nowadays. How we can use the technology to optimize, a good experience for the stakeholders. Also, to understand that how we can utilize this technology to get more strategic and less administrative. So, because today the world, as rightly pointed out, that HR is not basically a power center. It has to be more collaborative, and it can only happen when we basically make things more transparent for people. How we can bring more agility and more competitiveness in the business, and that is where people can find the equity. There are a lot of high performers, but we have to understand that how these high performers or the low performers can be brought to high performers. And that is where the beauty of implementing this AI engine in our HR vehicle or in our business vehicle. So I think that is what is the basic crux of the whole thing. So, the return on investment can only come when you know where exactly you have to implement and where to implement. And you have to be very sure that why you're exactly going to do that. If you are really doing, then it's absolutely in the right track. Otherwise, you would be always coasting along, just not doing just beating around the bush and not exactly doing the things for the right cause. So that would be my short and sweet answer.
Thank you, Dr. Prem, for that.
Yeah, I want to add to.
Yes,
I would like to add to.
yes, Vipul. Please.
Thing. If you look at it, is it a quick ROI? Of course, implementation of any technology is ROI, and it has to give a payout, or it has to give especially a CFO would definitely question the expenses or the investments which are being done. But is it only the monetary aspect of ROI? Is it can we not look at the culture, the organization, implementation, the technology that is bringing? It brings about a cultural transformation. It reduces my attrition. It reduces my employee grievances. If that aspects are taken care, the productivity improves. When the productivity improves, your top line improves, your bottom line improves. These are a direct impact that a technology or a AI can bring, which is, if you ask me, if you look at it from one simple aspect, what was the current EBITDA or a top line number that you have as an organization, or a stock price, what is there? Vis-a-vis what after implementing and 2 years down the line, if the attritions or various matrices show that there has been a transformation in the organization and the stocks have gone up, that would be an actual reflection of ROI.
Perfect. Thanks, Vipulji, for throwing light on that. In the interest of time, I will take the last question. But before that, Mr. Sanjeet Basu wanted to tell something to the esteemed panel. In today's world, imaginative is more important than being intelligent. We are drowning in the information but starving for the wisdom. So, Sanjeet ji, thanks for putting this across, very well received and put forward to the entire forum. In fact, Aditi has asked 3 questions. I'll take only one of them because we're just short of time, and this is the last question. And Vipulji, this is for you and Raamann sir, Prem sir. In case you want to add on to that, please feel free to do that. What is the ideal AI integration roadmap for HR functions, and how can CHROs prioritize initiatives?
Chicken story, Vicky. I will put it very simple. Do I use AI to correct my processes, policies, practices, or first can I use my uh, policies, practices, and my um, home to put in order and then transform. So the roadmap has to be that it is a forward transition in terms of processes, practices, and employee life cycle. Now, these are have you drawn that ease of employee, the digital learning platform? You want to create a platform of transformation across the organization. Now, these are the steps that it should be part of your digital transformation journey and as a part of your roadmap. So what you define first, you define your internal parameters, and then look at AI to supplement you and complement you for this kind of.
Thanks, Vipulji. In
And
fact,
I
I
just
think
would like to add on here
yeah,
that the future of AI is going to be where HR is not about, AI replacing the human touch, but about enhancing it. We are looking at a landscape where HR professionals will blend emotional intelligence with AI-driven insights to create more personalized and efficient employee experiences. That should be the approach.
of course, very well said. And in fact, Ramanji also replied to Aditi. Ramanji, you want to just put it to the entire forum your views on this, and then we can
No,
wrap this session.
thank you, Vicky, and to all the participants who asked question and to those who've stayed on the panel for so long. Thank you so much. In my mind, again, do I have a strategy to implement AI, or let's call it technology, in HR function? The answer is yes. The reasons are very simple. Business will go threefold. My function won't grow threefold. How do I ensure HR as a function, my team or my colleagues are impactful, business minded, and business oriented? That the only way would be through these tools. We can call it anything, right? There are a lot of jargons and everything, and I'm not the best person to talk about those jargons. I'm also a learner here. My whole purpose of bringing technology in HR function, as I mentioned earlier, one, I want work-life harmony in my team. We work, and I just want to share it and not to shock. My promoter works 16 hours a day. My group CEO works 16 hours a day. And if I work less than that, I am behind the race. We are running at 200 miles an hour in our head, right? From 1.5 billion to 5 billion won't happen if we don't work hard, right? So you can't replace that hard work. A technology can only bring speed of execution. Technology can only help me close what I did in 18 hours in 8 hours and maybe in 8 minutes, right? So I think the whole premise, Aditi, is, as I said, what is the purpose I exist for the business? Am I an order taker? Am I a postman? Am I a yes man? Am I a value creator? Pick where you are. And I can assure you, a lot of HR folks are in these four ranges, right? The last one, value creator, uh, if you are lucky, you are creating value. Rest is this piece. And I don't fool myself, right? 27 years, have I done strategy? Yes. My strategy is flawless execution. Strategy is done by the board. Strategy is done by my CEO. I add to it, as I said, as a consultant, as a partner, right? And maybe that's me, not everybody. To answer that, do I have a strategy for AI in HR? The answer is no. Can I build it? The answer is no. There is nothing in my mind. There is a concept of when you say return on investment. In my mind, the only concept that exists is value to business. I'm driven by VTB, not ROI, right? What is the ROI of an HR function in an organization? Very hard to display, right? Unless you speak the business language. And again, my only urge to the group here is use technology to bring it equivalent to the thinking process of a CEO and CFO. Very young in my age, when I was in the HR function, I learned or I heard somewhere that if in a forum there are three people on the stage, and the way they speak, you can't differentiate who's a CEO, CFO, and a CHRO. It's a great organization because they are all thinking the same about the business and ethos and values and the growth. So, it's a long answer Aditi, to your question, but I think I'm trying to address a lot of many questions that are embedded here. Learn business, think about business, align with the finances of your organization. That is going to give answers to what technology do I need to bring in my HR function to aid better margins, better profitability, and the challenges around the world. Right? If I am stuck with my HR-ish jargon, that I want to do succession planning, I want to do talent mapping, these are important aspects. The ROI is the value to business.
Ramanji, I think we need to also redefine the HR courses to a greater extent to cover these aspects.
Actually, very well said, Ramanji, and thanks a lot everyone for joining this session today, and thanks a lot all the speakers for giving such giving some power-packed ideas and addressing some of the key initiatives, key roles of AI in HR. And thanks a lot, Sunil ji, for anchoring this very well. I'd like
Thanks.
to with this, I'll like to call it a day. Have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks a lot for joining.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
Vipul. Thanks,
Have a great
Raman.
weekend.
Everyone,
Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you.
have a great
Thank you.
weekend,
Thank you,
and
everyone.
I hope this was a good investment of your Saturday morning. I hope we've added the appetizer for your lunch. So enjoy your lunch and a great weekend ahead.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Raman.
Ramanji.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.